have you ever been there, you're talking, trying to explain something, and the perfect word just poof, gone?
Oh, absolutely. Or maybe you hit like 2 in the afternoon and that mental fog just rolls in. Suddenly thinking feels like wading through mud.
Exactly. It's so frustrating. Makes complex stuff feel totally impossible.
And it's more than just annoying, isn't it? It feels like your own brain is letting you down.
Yeah.
We're expected to be on all the time, cognitively speaking.
Yeah, the demand is huge.
But so many of us feel like we're running on empty, struggling to keep up, forgetting why you walked into a room or where you just put your keys 5 seconds ago.
Right. And we often just chalk it up to, oh, I'm tired, or maybe I'm just getting older.
But when you actually dig into the science,
Yeah.
a different picture emerges. The core idea, your brain isn't broken. It really isn't.
Okay.
It's more like it's being asked to run a marathon without the right training or, the right fuel.
That's a great way to put it. It's the engine for everything, right?
Yeah.
How fast you learn, how you react, your creativity, your resilience. It all starts there.
Precisely. And if that engine gets, let's say, bad fuel or you skip the maintenance, it doesn't just slow down. Performance actually starts to degrade.
So that's what this deep dive is all about today. We want to shift that thinking.
Exactly. We're moving past the quick fixes. The extra shot of espresso, the sugary snack. Those are just Band-Aids.
Right. They don't last.
We're looking at the long game. We're synthesizing the research, looking at science-backed habits, lifestyle changes, things that can genuinely encourage the brain to, rewire itself.
Rewire itself. I like that. For sustained strength, better focus, keeping memories sharp long term.
That's the goal, building a structure for high performance that lasts.
Okay, so where do we start building that structure? Seems like the input is the most logical place, the raw material.
Makes sense. Let's call this part 1, the physical engine. It's all about how we fuel and maintain the brain.
Okay, the fuel tank. The link between what we eat and how clearly we think. Sometimes it feels immediate, doesn't it?
It's profound. And immediate is often right. We talk about the brain being complex, maybe the most complex thing we know.
Yeah.
We often forget just how greedy it is for resources.
Greedy. Okay, how greedy are we talking?
Well, think about this. The brain is only about, 2% of your body weight? Tiny, relatively speaking.
Right.
But it burns through roughly 20% of your body's total energy intake every single day.
20%. Wow. Okay, that is a lot.
It is. But if you consider everything it's doing, constantly processing information, thoughts, emotions, firing signals nonstop, that energy cost, it starts to make sense.
So if it needs that much energy, the quality of that energy must be crucial, like putting cheap gas in a race car.
Exactly the right analogy. If you fill that high-performance tank with, say, low-grade processed sugars or foods that cause a lot of inflammation,
You get sputtering performance.
it gets spikes and crashes, yeah. Poor overall function and something called cognitive inflammation, basically a brain running rough.
Okay, so we need the good stuff, the high-octane, slow-burn fuel. What are the main things, the building blocks that actually help the brain build connections instead of just, struggling?
Well, we've pulled out 5 key categories from the research. Let's start with fats, specifically omega-3 fatty acids.
Ah, yes, the good fats. Everyone hears about those. Salmon, walnuts.
Right. But why are they good for the brain? It's about the mechanics, the structure. Think of omega-3s, especially one called DHA, as the primary stuff your brain cell membranes are made of.
The cell walls.
Exactly. DHA keeps those membranes fluid and flexible. If they get stiff and rigid, communication between neurons slows right down.
Ah, okay. So flexibility equals speed.
Pretty much. Fluid membranes mean faster, more efficient signaling. And that translates directly into how quickly you process information, how well you recall memories. That's why salmon, walnuts, flax seeds, they're non-negotiable for good brain structure.
Makes total sense. Better structure, faster communication. Got it. Okay, next up, you mentioned bright colors. Blueberries, often hear them called brain berries or something.
Yeah, or antioxidant bombs.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good description. The brain is really vulnerable to oxidative stress. Think of it like mental rust.
Rust, okay.
Blueberries are packed with these compounds, flavonoids, that can cross the blood-brain barrier. They get in there and help neutralize the damaging molecules, the free radicals.
So they protect the brain tissue itself.
They do, and what's really cool is that studies show these compounds tend to gather in the parts of the brain that are critical for memory and learning.
Like the hippocampus.
Exactly. So by protecting those key areas from stress and just, the effects of aging, they give a significant boost to your ability to learn new things and pull up old memories.
Yeah.
Especially useful if you're doing something mentally demanding.
Okay, antioxidant protection, memory boost. Got it. Let's move over to the greens. Leafy greens, spinach, kale, broccoli, they're always on health lists, but what's their specific job for the brain?
It's really about providing essential backup singers, the cofactors for brain processes. Leafy greens are loaded with vitamin K and folate, which is vitamin B9.
Vitamin K, don't hear about that one as much for brain health.
Right, but it's crucial for making sphingolipids. These are special fats that are part of the brain cell structure itself. And folate, that's essential for all sorts of things, including making neurotransmitters and clearing out waste.
So structure and communication again.
Exactly. Having enough of both vitamin K and folate is strongly linked to slowing down age-related cognitive decline. Keeps you mentally sharp.
Good stuff. Okay, here's one people might be happy to hear about. Dark chocolate. How does a treat make the list?
Well, the key words are dark, like 70% cocoa or higher, and moderation. A small amount.
Okay, not the whole bar.
Definitely not the whole bar. The power comes from flavonols in the cocoa. These compounds help relax your blood vessels. They're vasodilators.
Meaning more blood flow.
Yep. When you eat dark chocolate, you get a measurable increase in blood flow to the brain. More blood means more oxygen, more nutrients, and fast removal of waste.
So a quick boost for focus.
Exactly. Enhanced focus and alertness. It could be a really nice low-dose pick-me-up before you tackle something tough mentally.
Nice. Okay, final one on the food list. Eggs. We know protein, but what's the brain angle?
It comes down to one key nutrient, choline.
Choline, right.
Eggs are packed with it. And choline is absolutely vital because your brain uses it to make acetylcholine,
Which is a big...
a major neurotransmitter. Acetylcholine is critical for muscle control, but also for attention and really importantly for consolidating memories, making memories stick.
Okay. So if you're low on choline...
Those communication lines get fuzzy.
Yeah.
Especially the ones you need for, say, recalling a name quickly or shifting between tasks smoothly. Things feel sluggish. Communication breaks down.
So it's not just general tiredness, it's a specific neurotransmitter shortage.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So prioritizing these kinds of high-quality fuel sources, it isn't just nice to have. It's foundational for keeping those brain communication lines open and running fast.
Okay, fuel tank topped up with the good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the maintenance schedule. Exercise. Most people think, muscles, heart health.
Right. Cardio, abs, biceps.
But the link between just moving your body and keeping your mind sharp, it feels underrated sometimes. Why is movement so critical for the brain itself?
It's like the ultimate system tune-up.
Yeah.
When you get your heart rate up, sure, you're helping your heart. But you're also forcing a big surge of blood flow straight to the brain.
Delivering oxygen and fuel right where it's needed.
Exactly. When those neurons are firing, they need that delivery.
Yeah.
But honestly, the real magic, the deeper benefit happens at the chemical level.
That feeling after a workout, that clarity, the good mood, it's not just in your head, it's actual chemistry changing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Exercise releases that cocktail of feel-good chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, which helps with mood, motivation, All good things.
Yeah.
But the real hero chemical for brain growth and function that we need to talk about is BDNF.
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Yeah, sounds important. Our sources called it fertilizer for brain cells. Let's unpack that. What's this fertilizer actually do?
Okay, so BDNF is a protein. Think of it like Miracle-Gro, but for your neurons.
Okay.
It does a few amazing things.
Yep.
Helps existing brain cells survive. It promotes the growth of new brain cells. And maybe most importantly, it boosts synaptic plasticity.
Plasticity, meaning the connections between brain cells.
Exactly. It makes it easier for your neurons to connect, to talk to each other, and to form strong, lasting memories. So if you want your brain to be adaptable, to learn efficiently, to grow, you need BDNF.
And exercise is the best way to get it flowing.
It's the most reliable, natural way we know to significantly boost BDNF levels.
So exercise isn't just making the existing brain hardware run better, it's literally helping build and repair the hardware. That's huge.
It is huge. And we actually have physical evidence, structural evidence in the brain.
You mean like brain scans?
Yep. Studies consistently compare active people to sedentary people. And the finding is clear. Regular exercisers tend to have larger hippocampi.
The hippocampus again. The memory center.
That's the one. It's critical for taking your experiences and turning them into long-term memories. So a larger hippocampus, better memory capacity.
So if you're struggling with that brain fog or you can't seem to remember new names, the answer might actually be go for a walk.
It really might. It sounds almost too simple, but you are literally fertilizing and potentially expanding your brain's memory hub when you move. Forget the extra caffeine, maybe try a quick jog.
I love that. The solution to a mental problem is physical. But okay, let's be realistic. Does this mean we all need to start training for marathons? What's the minimum effective dose here?
That's the great news. You don't need crazy high intensity to get these cognitive benefits.
Oog.
Consistency really is more important than intensity here. You trigger that BDNF release, you boost that blood flow with just, say, 30 minutes of brisk walking.
Brisk walking counts.
Absolutely. Or cycling, dancing, swimming. Anything that gets your heart rate up a bit makes you breathe a little heavier.
So, not killing yourself in the gym.
Not at all. The goal is to make movement a regular, consistent part of your day, like brushing your teeth. It's daily maintenance, not a weekend warrior thing.
Okay, so fuel is in, maintenance schedule is set with exercise. Now, the system reset, sleep.
Ah, sleep. The unsung hero.
Or maybe the villain in our hustle culture. It's often seen as wasted time, right? Time you could be productive.
It's such a damaging misconception. Viewing sleep as passive downtime might be the single biggest way we sabotage our long-term brain health.
So it's not passive rest, it's active work.
It is absolutely active.
Yeah.
Your brain is incredibly busy during sleep. It's doing critical work like memory consolidation.
Sorting through the day's information,
Yeah.
deciding what to keep.
Exactly. Sifting, organizing, filing away important memories, and letting go of the trivial stuff. It decides what gets stored long-term.
And maybe the most crucial job, taking out the trash.
Yes. This is huge. We need to talk about the glymphatic system.
Okay, glymphatic sounds like plumbing.
That's a perfect way to think about it. It's the brain's dedicated waste clearance system. While you're awake, all that thinking and processing generates metabolic waste products.
Like byproducts of brain activity.
Exactly, including potentially toxic proteins like beta amyloid, which is implicated in Alzheimer's. These build up in the spaces between brain cells.
Okay.
Then when you fall into deep non-REM sleep, this glymphatic system kicks into high gear. Cerebrospinal fluid literally washes through the brain tissue, flushing out all that accumulated waste.
Wow. So if you cut sleep short...
You are literally leaving toxic gunk behind in your brain. The cleaning crew didn't finish their shift.
No wonder you feel awful the next day. Sluggish, foggy, irritable.
It explains so much. When you rack up sleep debt, the effects are immediate. Your focus tanks, your mood becomes unstable, little things set you off.
Creativity goes out the window.
Completely disappears. Your ability to make good decisions plummets because the prefrontal cortex, your executive function hub, hasn't had its restorative cleaning and reset. You make impulsive choices.
Okay, so the message is loud and clear. Sleep is non-negotiable. How much are we talking?
The consistent recommendation from, pretty much all the research is 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep per night for most adults.
Quality being the key word there too, right? Just being in bed for 8 hours isn't enough if you're tossing and turning.
Absolutely. Quality is paramount. You need those deep sleep cycles for the glymphatic system to really work well. So a good sleep routine is essential.
What does that look like? How do we signal to our brain, okay, time to power down?
The number one thing, manage your light exposure, especially blue light from screens.
Phones, tablets, laptops, even bright TVs.
Yep, turn them off or at least put them away, ideally an hour or more before you intend to sleep. Blue light directly suppresses your body's production of melatonin.
The sleep hormone.
Exactly. You're basically telling your brain, nope, still daytime, even when it's midnight.
Okay, screens off. What about the bedroom environment itself?
Think cave. Cool, dark, and quiet. Your body temperature naturally drops to initiate sleep, so a cooler room helps. And darkness is key. Even small amounts of light can disrupt melatonin and sleep cycles. Blackout curtains can be amazing.
Cool and dark. Got it. Any pre-sleep rituals that help?
Yeah, winding down is important. Transition time. Instead of working right up until bed, try some light reading emphasis on a physical book, not a screen.
Okay.
Or some gentle stretching, maybe a simple meditation or mindfulness practice. Anything that helps shift your brain waves from the busy, active beta waves of daytime to the slower alpha and theta waves that precede sleep.
Allows the brain to downshift.
Exactly. When you commit to that consistent routine, that proper reset, you wake up feeling fundamentally different, sharper, calmer, more resilient, ready to actually use that well-fueled, well-maintained brain.
All right, we've handled the hardware, the fuel, the maintenance, the reset. Now let's talk about upgrading the software, the operating system. Part 2 is about optimizing for growth, keeping calm, and sharpening focus.
Yeah, this is about how we use the brain day to day. And a big myth we need to bust right away is the idea that your brain power peaks early and then it's all downhill.
Right, the you can't teach an old dog new tricks idea applied to our own minds.
Exactly. And it's just not true. This is where that muscle analogy comes back in really strongly. If you stop lifting weights, your muscles weaken. If you stop challenging your brain, it loses its flexibility, its ability to adapt quickly.
But the good news is it can keep adapting, right? That's the whole idea of neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity is probably the most hopeful, empowering concept in all of neuroscience.
Let's make sure we really nail this down for everyone listening. What is it exactly?
Simply put, neuroplasticity is your brain's built-in ability to change its own structure and function based on experience. It can form new connections between neurons, and it can reorganize existing pathways. It happens throughout your entire life.
So you're not stuck. The brain you have today doesn't have to be the brain you have tomorrow.
Precisely. Every time you learn something new, have a novel experience, wrestle with a complex idea, you are literally triggering physical changes in your brain. New pathways are being formed.
So the key isn't just like memorizing facts, it's about challenge, introducing something new.
Novelty is huge. And challenge. Learning a new skill is fantastic for this. Think about learning a musical instrument or a new language or even a complex craft like coding or knitting.
Why are those things particularly good?
Because they force different parts of your brain to work together in new ways. Sensory input, fine motor control, memory, problem solving. They all have to coordinate.
Like building new roads between different brain regions?
That's a great way to put it. And that intense coordination encourages the brain to produce more myelin, which is the insulation around nerve fibers. More myelin means faster, more efficient signaling in the future. The harder your brain has to work to coordinate, the bigger the structural payoff.
Okay, so it's the effortful struggle that actually builds the brain, not just passive learning.
Exactly. It's not about being comfortable. It's about pushing the boundaries of your current abilities.
The sources had a really simple, kind of funny way to feel this instantly. The non-dominant hand test.
Oh yeah, the non-dominant hand test. It's brilliant because it's so immediate. Try doing something simple, like brushing your teeth or pouring your coffee, maybe using your computer mouse with the hand you don't normally use.
Yeah, I've tried that. It feels incredibly awkward, slow, clumsy, frustrating.
Right, that feeling. That's neuroplasticity in action, in real time. That's your brain going, whoa, wait, the usual pathways aren't working for this. I need to figure out a new way. I need to recruit some different connections.
It's the physical sensation of your brain trying to adapt on the fly.
Exactly. It's bypassing the super efficient highways it normally uses and trying to navigate down bumpy, unpaved roads.
Okay.
But here's the thing. If you kept doing that, brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand every day for a week or two,
It would get easier, less awkward.
right, because your brain would strengthen those new pathways. It would pave those bumpy roads. The lesson is profound. You don't need to enroll in a PhD program to harness neuroplasticity.
You just need to inject novelty.
Inject novelty and challenge into your routine. Learn a few words of a new language online. Try a new type of puzzle. Take a different route home. Cook a complex recipe you'd never tried. The challenge itself sparks the growth.
Okay, so learning builds new capacity, but we also need to protect the system we have, and that brings us to stress. We live in this perpetually on culture, right? Anxiety, multitasking. It feels normal.
It feels normal, but it's incredibly damaging. Chronic stress is called out in the sources as a silent killer of cognitive function.
A silent killer. That sounds serious. Is that hyperbole, or is there actual physical damage happening?
Oh, it's literal physical damage. When you're under constant pressure, maybe from work deadlines, financial worries, relationship stress, or even just chronic overthinking and multitasking, your body is flooded with the stress hormone cortisol.
Cortisol, the fight or flight hormone. Useful in short bursts if a tiger is chasing you, I guess.
Exactly. Essential for immediate survival. But the problem is our modern stressors aren't usually short-lived tigers. They're chronic. And chronic high levels of cortisol are toxic to the brain.
Toxic how? What does it actually do to brain structures?
It directly targets key areas. Research shows chronic cortisol actually causes the dendrites, those little branches on neurons that receive signals, especially in the hippocampus, to shrink and retract.
It shrinks your memory center.
Essentially, yes, it degrades the ability of neurons in the hippocampus to communicate effectively. This makes it harder to form new memories and harder to retrieve old ones accurately.
Wow.
And it doesn't stop there. It also damages the prefrontal cortex.
The CEO of the brain. Planning, decision-making.
All of that. Executive functions. So, chronic stress makes you more impulsive, less able to plan, harder to regulate your emotions. That feeling when you're stressed and you know you should calm down, but your brain just keeps racing. That's the cortisol effect in action.
Okay, this is critical. So relaxation isn't a luxury. It's not being lazy.
It is essential protective maintenance for your brain's operating system. It's fundamental brain care. We have to be proactive about it.
How do we actively push back against that constant stress response?
We need techniques that deliberately activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, to counteract the fight or flight response. And the good news, it doesn't have to be complicated or take hours.
Okay, what's the simple, actionable technique?
The sources highlighted something incredibly simple but powerful. The 5-minute daily pause.
Just 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes. Set a timer, close your eyes, and focus entirely on your breath using a specific controlled pattern. The box breathing technique is great for this.
Box breathing, how does that work?
It's simple. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4 seconds. Hold your breath gently for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. And then hold the breath out for 4 seconds. Then repeat.
Inhale 4, hold 4. Exhale 4, hold 4. Like drawing a box with your breath.
Exactly. That rhythmic, controlled breathing sends a direct signal to your brain's fear center, the amygdala, telling it the emergency is over. It physically lowers your heart rate, reduces blood pressure, and stems the tide of cortisol.
Just 5 minutes of that can make a difference.
A noticeable difference, especially if done consistently. And of course, this simple practice can be bolstered by other proven tools.
Like meditation or mindfulness?
Yes, regular meditation, mindfulness practices, even journaling about your thoughts and feelings. These are all ways to actively rewire your brain over time. You're strengthening the neural pathways associated with calm and weakening the ones associated with reactivity.
So you're building resilience to stress.
You are. And when you reduce that background hum of anxiety and stress, you free up an enormous amount of mental energy. Energy that was being wasted on worrying can now be directed towards clear thinking, creativity, problem solving. A calm mind isn't just pleasant, it's highly efficient.
All right, calm achieved. Now for the final piece of the operating system upgrade, focus. This feels like the ultimate modern challenge, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We are swimming, maybe drowning in what some call the distraction economy.
Everything is vying for our attention. Phones buzzing, notifications popping up, endless streams of information.
Exactly. Every app, every platform is basically engineered to grab and hold the most valuable resource you have.
Sure.
Your sustained attention, your focus.
And if we don't actively fight back,
Your ability to focus will wither. It really will. We have to think of sustained attention, deep focus, as a mental muscle.
a muscle that needs training.
Precisely. If you constantly expose that muscle to rapid context, jumping from email to Slack to news headlines to social media, it never gets the workout it needs to do deep, concentrated work. It gets weak and flabby.
Okay, so this brings us to what feels like a radical idea today. The single tasking method. Do one thing at a time.
It sounds radical, but it's how our brains are actually designed to work best on complex tasks. We wear multitasking like a badge of honor, but it's mostly a myth.
A myth. But people feel like they're getting more done.
They feel busy, but the brain literally cannot pay full attention to two demanding tasks at the exact same moment. What we call multitasking is actually rapid, serial task switching.
Switching back and forth really quickly.
Yeah, and every single switch has a cognitive cost. Your brain has to disengage from task A, load up the context for task B, do a bit of task B, then disengage, reload task A. It's incredibly inefficient.
How inefficient are we talking?
Research suggests that kind of constant switching can eat up as much as 40% of your productive time. Plus, error rates go way up, and you end up feeling much more mentally exhausted than if you just focused on one thing until it was done, or until a planned break.
40%, that's huge. Okay, so the goal is clear. One thing at a time, full attention. How do we actually build that focus muscle? How do we resist the siren song of the notification?
We have to create protective boundaries. It requires deliberate effort. Step 1, and this is crucial, turn off all non-essential notifications on your phone and computer.
Ouch. All of them.
As many as you possibly can. Be ruthless. Does that social media alert really need to interrupt your concentration? Probably not. Take back control of when you check things.
Okay, notifications off. What else?
Step 2, set crystal clear single task goals for defined periods. If you decide you're going to work on writing that report for the next 25 minutes.
Then writing the report is the only thing you do.
Exactly. No quick email checks, no just looking something up that spirals into web browsing. You commit to this single task for that block of time.
The sources had a simple exercise for this, kind of like the non-dominant hand test for focus.
Yeah, it's a great one. Try reading a physical book or a challenging article for 20 minutes straight. No phone nearby, no email open, just read.
20 minutes doesn't sound that long. But I bet it's harder than it sounds for many people.
For many, it is. The first few times, you might feel that twitch, that urge to grab your phone, almost unconsciously.
Yeah.
But resisting that urge, choosing to gently bring your focus back to the reading, that is the rep. That's the moment you're strengthening the focus muscle.
Every time you resist distraction, you get a tiny bit stronger.
Exactly. And when you master that resistance, when you can consistently engage in deep, single-tasked focus, that's when you unlock huge gains in productivity, creativity, and honestly, the sheer quality and depth of your thinking.
Okay, we've covered the big pillars. Food, movement, sleep, learning, calm, and focus. Those are the foundations.
Right, the heavy lifting, you might say.
But sometimes those feel like big changes. For listeners looking for things they can start doing, like right now, today, we need to talk about the small stuff, the micro habits.
Absolutely, because cognitive improvement isn't always about massive overhauls. Often, it's the cumulative effect of seemingly small, daily choices.
They add up over time.
They really do. These little habits are like the mortar holding the bricks of those big pillars together. They build a sharper, more resilient brain bit by bit without necessarily requiring huge effort or disruption.
Okay, let's run through some of these powerful micro habits. What's first?
Maybe the simplest one imaginable. Stay hydrated.
Just drink water.
Just drink water. But here's why it matters so much for the brain. Your brain tissue is about 75% water.
75%. Okay.
So it's incredibly sensitive to your hydration levels. Even mild dehydration, we're talking losing just 1 or 2% of your body's water, can measurably impact your focus, your mood, and your short-term memory.
So that fuzzy feeling, that afternoon slump, it might just be thirst.
It very well could be. Before you reach for more caffeine, try a big glass of water first. Keeping consistently hydrated ensures optimal electrical signaling between neurons and efficient nutrient transport within the brain. Simple, but crucial.
Okay, hydrate. Got it. Next up, something that pushes back against that always be working mentality. Take breaks.
Yes, we're often told to just push through, power through fatigue, but cognitively, that's usually counterproductive.
Our brains aren't designed for marathon work sessions.
Not really. They seem to work best in focused bursts, followed by short recovery periods. This is why techniques like the Pomodoro technique are so effective.
Pomodoro, that's the tomato timer thing, right? Work for 25 minutes, break for 5.
Exactly. You work with intense focus for, say, 25 minutes, then you take a complete 5-minute break. And complete means actually stepping away from the task.
Don't just check email during the break.
Right. Get up, stretch, look out the window, grab that water we just talked about. That short disengagement allows your prefrontal cortex to rest and recharge a bit.
Prevents decision fatigue. Keeps the next work burst sharp.
Precisely. It helps you maintain high-quality focus over longer periods, paradoxically, by working in shorter sprints. Prevents burnout.
Okay, breaks are good. What about sensor input? The sources mention listen to music, specifically certain types.
Yeah, specifically instrumental music like classical, ambient, or electronic music without lyrics.
Why no lyrics?
Lyrics tend to engage the language processing centers of your brain, which can compete for resources if you're trying to read or write or do complex problem solving.
Ah, okay. So instrumental music doesn't interfere as much.
Right. And studies suggest that certain types of instrumental music can actually improve concentration and creativity for some people. It might help induce a state of relaxed alertness, sometimes called alpha brain waves, which is conducive to focus and learning.
So it creates a kind of optimal sound environment for thinking.
For some people, yes, worth experimenting with to see if it helps you focus.
Okay, now this one feels important in our digital age. Write by hand.
Yes. Put down the keyboard, pick up a pen.
Why? What's happening differently in the brain when we write versus type?
Typing is often a fairly automatic, standardized motor task. But writing by hand, that involves intricate fine motor control, visual processing of the letters you're forming, and engaging language centers in a much more complex, interconnected way.
It's a richer sensory and motor experience.
Much richer.
Where?
And that complexity seems to force the brain to process the information more deeply. The encoding is stronger.
Meaning you remember it better.
Yes. Studies consistently show better recall and conceptual understanding for information that was written down by hand compared to typed. So if you really need to learn something, taking notes in a meeting, studying for a test, brainstorming ideas, handwriting often wins.
Good tip for students, and really anyone trying to learn. Okay, next, socialize. How does chatting with friends help my brain?
Humans are fundamentally social creatures. Our brains evolved for complex social interaction.
It's wired into us.
Deeply wired. Engaging in positive social connection, talking, laughing, debating ideas, understanding someone else's perspective actively stimulates and strengthens brain regions crucial for emotional intelligence, empathy, communication, and navigating social situations.
So it's like a workout for the social brain.
Exactly. It's not frivolous downtime. It's essential exercise for critical cognitive skills. Plus, strong social ties are a massive protective factor against stress and cognitive decline later in life. Isolation, on the other hand, is actively harmful to the brain.
Connect with people. It's good for the soul and the brain. Okay, last one. This is more of a mindset shift. Practice gratitude.
Yes, and this isn't just, feel-good fluff. There's real neurochemistry involved here.
How does being thankful actually change your brain?
When you consciously focus on things you're grateful for, even small things, it stimulates activity in brain regions associated with reward and positive emotion. Specifically, it's been shown to boost the release of dopamine and serotonin.
The feel-good neurotransmitters.
Exactly. Dopamine is linked to pleasure and motivation. Serotonin is linked to mood stability and well-being. So by practicing gratitude regularly, maybe just taking a minute or two each day to write down or think about 3 things you're thankful for, you are literally altering your brain chemistry.
Training your brain to focus on the positive.
You are. You're strengthening neural pathways associated with optimism, resilience, and contentment. This helps buffer against anxiety and stress, builds mental fortitude, and just generally makes your baseline emotional state more positive and resourceful. It's a proactive way to tune your brain for well-being. Hashtag outro.
Wow. Okay, so if we take a step back and look at everything we've covered, the fuel, the movement, the sleep, the learning, the calm, the focus, these small habits, what's the big picture?
I think the overwhelming takeaway is one of incredible optimism and agency. Your brain isn't this fixed thing you're stuck with.
It's not static.
Not at all. This is arguably the most adaptable, dynamic, incredible organ in the known universe. It's literally built for lifelong growth, change, and improvement.
And the power to shape that change lies. It lies with us in our daily choices.
Exactly. Boosting your brain power, building resilience, enhancing focus, it doesn't necessarily require some magic pill or complicated program. It comes down to consistently tending to these foundational pillars.
Feed it well. Move your body. Prioritize sleep. Keep learning new things.
Yeah.
Cultivate calm. Train your focus. Practice those small supportive habits like hydration and gratitude.
That's the formula.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanism underlying it all, that amazing neuroplasticity we talked about.
Right. Every choice matters.
Every single one. Every healthy meal you choose, every walk you take, every time you choose to focus instead of getting distracted, every time you learn something new, even every time you take a mindful breath, you're actively participating in the rewiring of your own brain.
You're literally building your future cognitive capacity today.
You are. Which brings us to maybe the final thought, a question for everyone listening. Looking at those 7 pillars we discussed, food, exercise, sleep, learning, calm, focus, and the small habits, which one area, if you were to improve it by just say 5% starting this week, do you think would give you the biggest boost in your mental clarity, your energy, your overall cognitive function?
Just 5% improvement in one area.
Just pick one to start. Because the core message is this: every healthy thought, every mindful breath, and every new challenge you embrace actively rewires your brain for long-term greatness. Don't try to do everything at once. Just start somewhere.
That's a powerful call to action. Find your 5%.
Find your 5%.
Until next time, keep your mind sharp, your spirit calm, and your curiosity alive.